even mentioning the name, it sounds like the crowd's kind of picking up here.
Yep.
20 eliminations during their heat.
Oh,
but
gosh.
The list is
this is disgusting when you look at this. We said at the Summer Skirmish there's never been a more stacked lobby. I take back everything I've said. We have never seen a more stacked lobby in Fortnite history. You are about to watch the most skilled players in the world battle it out for 6 straight games for just shy of $2 million in prizes. I would say, Ben, who stands out to you? But honestly, every other player on that list stands out to me.
It's that intense here. You have some OG duos like Nate Hill and Funk Bomb showing up. You have multiple teams from Ghost Gaming, Liquid, C9. It's absolutely wild.
And it's great you bring that up as we take a look at our Players Lounge. One key thing to note, for player integrity reasons, skins have been randomized during these matches. Every game, everyone's going to be using different skins. There's tfue. Ladies and gentlemen,
here we go.
It is time. Game number 1 of the Fall Skirmish Grand Finals, live from TwitchCon. It's standing room only. 100 of the best Fortnite players in the world, and the battle bus has launched. Good luck to all. Make some noise.
Looks like we've got a southeast to kind of mid-north bus path. You see the players jumping out, just kind of finding an even spread. You see in that southeast corner, Jack, too, people dropping over the water to get as low as possible before the parachute, their glider opens so they can float on in. The little set of even just looking at the minimap, who do you think that pair of red arrows is down there in that set of houses? I'm going to bet you anything.
I'm going to say it's tfue and Cloak, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys, they scrim against each other. They play those custom games against each other. They know where they like to land. Chap's probably going to go towards Whaling. tfue and Cloakzy probably going to play that southeasternmost town, as some reference it as Westworld. Well, Aiden and Nick Merckx.
You see even flying over here right now, looks like Tendon's already having taken damage from that little pair in there. J-Love and Punisher dishing it out in Dusty Divot, but there are still players floating into it. Nick Merckx and Aiden trying to establish dominance in Tilted Towers, but Super Evan and Godnick took the large gray building. We'll have to see a little 2v2 in the town here.
And Nick Merckx and Aiden, they're part of the Controller Gang. Hey, who's repping Controller Gang out there in the crowd? Hey, there's a lot of people rooting for that reason. Off the break, you see they land together. They mention their aggression. 99 players remaining, now 98 in the lobby as Cease goes down early.
Having seen Nick Merckx and Aiden both play separately, it's impressive to me to hear Nick in that interview say that Aiden might be the only player he's ever encountered that is more aggressive than he is, and he's shown it many times in the past. Both of them mixing it up together, but they're on the same team now. Back here, we saw that early damage as we were flying over the path of the bus, and J-Love, Germ setting up here in Dusty. These players, you'll notice they'll harvest even just one single piece off of a roof. Going for the snipe shot, just barely misses by the ankle of his opponent as it rotates away to the north. Tree going down, not often seen though. The trees, typically competitive players leave those up so that they don't kind of throw up a signal flare as to, hey, here I am. He's looking at the shot just on the corner.
He knew the tree was weak, tries to predict it. So as you mentioned, most times players don't fully destroy those trees. They get them down to 50 health. Well, guess what? Hits it with the clean burst, tries to immediately follow it up. Heads up play doesn't happen there as of yet. Now remember the point system and breakdown, folks. 3 eliminations is what you need to get at least 1 point. Right now, no team with 3, as you'd expect.
We do
Quick
have
shot there on attendance, though.
Two elims, though.
He's kind of trapped in this back room with only enough materials to build one more wall. This could spell disaster as these 2 players are split. That's the last wall. They've made it on in. The pump, the help from the teammate, knocks on either side. Germ down to just 12 hit points.
Securing that elimination. Not enough, though. Punisher without a teammate now, but 150 HP to his name. That 50 shield there, pretty important. Gets a pair of eliminations. His teammate in striking distance of their first point. Meanwhile, Nibs and Korea, we mentioned this is a replay from earlier, how they picked up their first pair of elims. Barely holding on, Jack.
Doesn't get much closer than that. As we check back in with Tilted Towers, we knew earlier on from seeing the overall map view that there was only 4 players here in total. Now, it does look like a slight health advantage would go over to Godnick and Super Evan. You'd know Aiden's got his eyes on that big shield right inside that new building. As they'll just continue to rotate, work together, farming up those materials. 89 players left. And this is, as you mentioned, if you're watching maybe for one of the first times one of these events, These games play out much, much different. Why are there still so many players remaining? What is the main difference here, Lupo?
Players are looking to earn points, and it's based on eliminations and placement. And so putting themselves in bad positions, you know, exposing themselves just by being overly aggressive, going for eliminations is not necessarily the best play. In fact, I'd say it's probably the worst play. The crowd behind us as we switch between the POVs of Super Evan Godnick and
makes some noise every time there's someone you recognize, folks. Yeah.
But players, they're going to try and play more for position in a situation like this because you don't have to engage every single fight. You don't have to be aggressive. You play intelligently, you play strategically, and sometimes that includes waiting. So the player count right now is still 89 left. Only a few teams have gone down as we've seen people fight for the same POI when they land. And that's going to be pretty common, like you said, in a competitive match like this.
Ooh, and a nice suppressed epic assault rifle right there as they'll keep this high ground for the moment. They know that there are more enemies in Tilted. The question for them right now is where? Do they have eyes on? I do believe so, and the first shots come on in, and here comes that aggression. It looks like they're going right for it. The glide now for Nick Mercs. Aiden with the follow. Who will claim Tilted Towers in game number 1? The build-up just narrowly missing the pump. As Aiden will continue to fight for this high ground. Another great pyramid placing to block that shot. There's one shield tag there as well. This is where Aiden is most comfortable as a player. And again, this aggression, hunting down their opponents at every waking moment. I believe Aiden didn't want to drop all the way that far down as he'll have to build back up. You take a look at the material count. Only 120 wood now remaining for Nick Merck, so 12 walls he can place. Godnick a little bit split from his teammate. Evan just trying to stay alive for now. It looks like they're going to go for it. Aiden hopping right on down. Stings come in. There's the knock. You challenge them in Tilted, and you might play with fire as they look to push down on the final one. Will they strike first? They've got him weak. Nick still chasing shot from Aiden. They've got him pinned in the stairs. This could be it for Godnick and Super Evan. Aiden,
there it is. Aiden and Nick Merck saying this is my Tilted Towers. Pick a different POI to land at.
As you'd expect. They claim it, and there's that aggression. Using the new glider redeploy, flying right on in. Remember, we're still using those most recent updates with some of the new weapons in. We just have the Fort Nightmares disabled, so you won't see the cube monsters, you won't see the spawners here today, but the redeploy is still in. The 6-shooter will still be in play as well.
That wouldn't surprise me after that little play there if we see a rebrand of Nick and Aiden's towers.
This is getting longer and longer. Back on over to Nibs and Korea. This is Spookballs. And R7. Players from Rise Nation getting those quick eliminations. Doesn't get much easier than that.
We are west side of Salty Springs.
There's still 87 people left. Sorry to cut you off. 87 still remain.
The shot goes for it and just barely misses. Trying to catch players rotating out the east side of Salty. It looks like there might be 4 teams in rough proximity here, and Windwalker might have taken a shot at a totally different player as well, trying to catch somebody rotating away. You see there on the right side of your screen the format, just a reminder, especially that big bonus, super important. 87 players left. Just trying to go for the shots every single time.
And you know, he's got actually a great inventory right now. He's got the swap weapon. When we talk about swap weapon, it's when you have that pump with maybe an SMG of some sort to swap on over and consistently put out damage. Here's Baldy and Gunfly, members of Optic Gaming, trying to push on forward. They've got 2 players nearby. They've got some great utility as well. Not a lot of ammo right now for Baldy, so he's got to make these shots count. He claims the first wall. Will he be able to claim a second? It does appear so. The build battle continuing. Grapple, possibly back up to the high ground. Nothing as of yet. One close. Whips the pump shot.
His opponent maybe even not realizing that was him right in front of him. It looked like the grappler out. Shots from above. He's got to try and build up and defend. Gunfly, his teammate, has a top-down view as well. He's got himself kind of in a box, half owned by his opponent. Some traps, you hear him going down there, and Gunfly is trying to build to defend himself.
And this is the worry about those third-party engagements. When we say third-party, we talk about when, well, there's a fight like this, 2 teams going at it, a third team that makes their presence known, looking for some free damage. As now it looks like the fight will stall for a brief moment as Diggy and Perfect Tilt have got to the high ground.
Now I'd like to point out Diggy and Perfect Tilted earlier during a previous Heat 4, they took home $40,000 from the Make It Rain bonus, which we're not too far away from. So we could see a repeat for them. Raz and Bog here. Bog not looking too hot HP, but Raz still able to defend his teammate, hopefully, here in the kind of the corrupted zone to the southwest of Dusty.
Now, one thing to point out, Fortnite games, what, normally last 20, 25 minutes?
Roughly.
It has been now almost 3 minutes since our last elimination. That is how slow these games will be off the break, as everyone wanting to just hope the players around them all begin to drop. You see hysteria there in your engagement feed with the snipe on the Villix from 45 meters as Bizzle and DMO. Bizzle, one of the highest earning Fortnite players
and this
in
duo,
history.
Arguably a pretty solid fan favorite. A lot of people have been supporting Ghost for a while. It's good to see those players show up. Aiden, another member of Ghost, always putting on a good show. The edits down, trying to take possession of as many of these surfaces as possible, just in case an opponent tries to sneak in, you can catch somebody off guard as they rotate underneath.
And this is why so many players want to avoid, they try to avoid these kind of early to mid-game fights, because look at this right now for Razaru. No healing left, no other utility remaining, not many mats, less than 350 mats. If they get in a straight-up fight with these two, win or lose, I can tell you right now, based off of DMO and Bizzle's health, they don't have a hell of a lot either. So it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we get in that fight, and next thing you know, even if we win it, we're still sitting there going, wait, we have nothing to our name. Look at how little ammo they have for the assault rifle as well. Bizzle and DMO not in an ideal position at all. Oh, Vinny Zexro. Standouts from day one.
Zexro, one of the most aggressive players we've seen so far here in the grand finals for the Fall Skirmish, taking shots. Literally, as I said, one of the most aggressive players, pushing up those ramps, building up. He's going to use the glide to redeploy here in a second, get a top-down view as his teammate moves in at the same time. Vinny far underneath him. He's just looking for a top-down angle, and there's no risk here because if that gets shot out like it is, he just pops the glider redeploy and flies in on his opponent. Exactly what's going to happen is his opponent building up above him and his teammate trying to match. Looks like the quad, using it to just drop any structure. The shotty for over 100. He himself down to 92. Vinny gets the knock. Overpeak is down, which means it's a 1v2 situation. Zach's going to take just a moment here, pop a full shield. Vinny looks like he's doing the same thing with minis, which puts him just over 100. Overpeak knockdown right next to him. That's going to be tough to save. Oh, teammate Dopeye building up. Looks like he's getting shot from above potentially as well. Vinny and Zexro are in such a good spot right now, even though they're just outside the zone, but with so much HP and shield, they have an opportunity to take advantage of that. Kind of
look at Vinny's ammo.
Do a little bit of gatekeeping. Only 12 shots.
Yeah.
Medium is very low right now, and a body shot from a bolt action could spell defeat for him as well. Dopeye's going to have to move very soon, waiting for the edge here, especially if he doesn't have any HP healing, like a medkit, bandages, anything like that. He's in a tough spot. Zexro's going to take advantage of that. He's just kind of waiting. That's why he waited the very last second to rotate, see if he can catch his opponent rotating. Vinny gets that elim. Dopeye actually goes down to Yo-Yo, keep it up, who is potentially the third party. Maybe not the bounce he intended there as he flies towards his opponent.
He hits the crater. He's having to burn through all his materials, down to just 70 left.
6 builds, 5 builds, just ramping up.
Oh, he gets pyramided. He's stuck in the zone for the moment, down almost out of materials. And folks, actually now 5 more seconds. This is going to be a $50,000 make it rain period right here. Here we go. Remember, during this time between zones 3 and 4, whoever earns the most eliminations, $50,000 will be earned. Keep an eye on that engagement feed. Who will win that huge sum of cash?
Now, Jack, in a situation like this, you've played in events like this in the past. I think we both have, even today, the Stream Invitational. $50,000, is that going to make you play kind of out of position from, your normal strategic? That's a lot of money, Jack.
It is a lot of money. I think the big thing with it is, they can try their best to keep track, but it's not really one of those like tangible things that you can say. For example, when you're going for just straight up eliminations to earn a point, you can say, hey, we're 1 elimination away. Let's really try to hunt down in third party one of these fights to get that last elim we need. In this, you're kind of just hoping other fights don't happen. You're trying to do all this addition in your head for these elims. I think you just have to play and keep it in the back of your mind like, hey, maybe we can get a couple extra during this, but if not, they can't let it change their game too much.
Looks like Linane and Skatch moved into tilted as Nick and Aiden are rotating away. And you see on the right side of your screen, Fuzzy 301 and Enigma already have 2 eliminations. If no elims happen during the time, it would carry over no matter what, which means now if 2 teams do tie for the most eliminations in the next 4 minutes and 8 seconds, then it still carries over. But put another $10,000 on the Make It Rain bonus. Every time that thing grows, I get a little more nervous for the way these players are going to change their play style. Here we go, Fuzzy. His teammate Enigma is out, but 2 eliminations. 2 of them looks like they may have finished team 6 grenades. He's got a pretty good setup here. 142 medium ammo, surprisingly quite a bit for a competitive match where players are playing a little more strategically. So there's 81 players left still in this circle. DMO, Bizzle stuck right there above Raz and his teammate Bog. down from above. They're just outside the zone, so they're going to have to make a rotation relatively soon. It's not pressing. They have a minute and a half still, and then some, so they have to bounce out.
And again, that make it rain bonus you see is strictly counting the eliminations from this segment just during the make it rain for the moment. As we continue to stick with players, Shifty Shafts and Salty both about to be out of play, meaning the points of interest on the map, the named areas, 0 will be in play for this zone. Half the zone is in that kind of river in the ravine where you get stuck down there, you're in a pretty poor positioning. You see everyone try to sprint on out. Yo-Yo keep it up, Zexro and Vinny gatekeeping as well. They know someone's nearby. Yo-Yo keep it up, ticking down to that zone.
He's trying to edge it as long as he can. He doesn't want to get too aggressive.
Look at this, he can't even run out.
Might be kind of a trouble here. 24, 22 HP. He's got 2 bandages to pop before he's forced to move in.
He's got to glide.
Meanwhile, there's still other teams trying to rotate into the circle. Yo-Yo managing to fly just past. Doesn't realize potentially just yet that this is unoccupied, but he's going to find out quickly. No one else is there, which is solid play. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the Mega Rainbow.
And we have our first 2 teams that have earned themselves a point this game. Hysteria with 3 eliminations with Blind will put them on the board with a point, both representing C9, and then ECA, Punisher, and Tendons with 3 eliminations as well.
Laser there from Yo-Yo on Delphi rotating in. Wanted to take a look at that. His 1 elimination thus far. Final Game Bro, his teammate knocked out.
Now, folks, just to reiterate, there's 76 players remaining in this game, and that's the entire zone on the top right of your screen. That's where we stand right now.
2v2 here. Sword, two members of Sword. Devious Frosty stuck up above. Having the top down on Aiden and Nick. Those stink grenades. You're trying to use those kind of to try and root Nick out of the little structure he's built up in. Any of those ticks of damage, players are going to try and move away from it. And if they're used correctly, you can force opponents to make moves just the way you want them to.
Ghoul from Ghost Gaming with a knock on Diggy.
And
75 players left, and this is probably going to be one of the last zones before everything's going to go nuts. 1 minute and 10 seconds on the Make It Rain bonus as we keep track of that as well.
Cloak in the feed. Cloak and tfue finally showing up in the feed there.
In your elimination feed, remember this is arguably the most stacked lobby in Fortnite competitive history. Here at the Fall Skirmish Finals, you wouldn't expect anything different as Devious and Frosty still on that high ground. Are they looking to use the new glide or redeploy? What will the answer be from Aiden and Nick Merckx? Lenane and Scratch on the top side of the map too, beginning to move, and there's cloakzy and tfue right in the heart of the zone, healthy as ever, looking to strike early in game number 1.
Like you said, this is almost at the point where the circle is going to start claiming quite a few players' time here at the crowd every time tfue and Cloak show up. A lot of love for FaZe.
Again, to stress, players. For player integrity, skins have been randomized during all these matches. Oh no.
Aiden and Nick.
Oh no.
On the verge of elimination. Aiden just barely holding on, 5 HP, trying to defend against Zexro.
They got 3 though. They did get 3, so Aiden and Nick Merckx officially on the board with a point. Might not be the ending they want, but you know what? They're on. They've got themselves 1.
I know in the bottom right corner as Vinny gets eliminated there, it looks like they might have been teammates, but Vinny and Yo-Yo actually opponents basically in the same box next to each other. The number of teams now that are in line of sight of each other it's going to be insane. You have Funk Bomb, Nate Hill here. We cut across. They're just outside the zone. They're going to have to rotate northwest ever so gently, sharing the ammunition, this little base they've built. Nate trying to go for a snipe shot, just watching for any team to rotate. Now's the time to do it too, because he doesn't have to, these two, they don't have to move very far. So if they're looking to build up some eliminations just for point's sake, this is a good time to do it. Hopefully they realize Payne, Vape Jesus, Marksman, and his teammate are all stacked above him on that hill. It's going to be a tough hill to move away from. Earlier we saw Bog and Raz actually, for a little while, had the most eliminations during the Mega Rain bonus at 3, but DMO and Bizzle caught him from above here. Was getting the knock on Bog. Those clingers so important too when used correctly. You saw Bizzle drop 2 on the structure just above and then immediately swap to shoot it out so that once the explosion of the first one happened, the second would fall in on his opponent, and that's exactly how it played out. Well done there. Cloak and tfue. Shots coming from multiple directions while they're editing holes, windows, and walls to try and take shots of their own. Looking for parties rotating away. 87 medium ammo. A handful of shotgun shots. tfue gets sniped 39 meters from Nate Hill. The riff from Cloak just trying to make it away. And
he's just got to accept it's gone. That's how tfue goes out. Nate Hill, fellow FaZe member with lightning quick reactions, hits the shot, and now cloakzy's left by himself. But he had 2 rift to goes.
I feel like we've seen Cloak every game he's played so far, at least carrying one. You see a team way up in the air over there. Hysteria's gonna go for a shot here. The hunting rifle just looking for any sort of movement. Peek over the top, he's gonna try and take a shot, and that team does know that he's there. Very quick peek there as Hysteria and Blind in an excellent position, the very top of this hill. They have a top down on everybody. Cloak still plays
their position is good, but look at Hysteria's health especially.
Tough.
Rough spot. At 72 hours now in the elimination feed, tfue and Jamak. Hysteria wants this shot so darn bad. He's got a lot of materials, which I'll definitely say is a great spot, but here we go. This is where you're about to see over half this lobby drop like fries. Flies. It's an all-out race, and here we go.
In front of Hysteria, multiple teams moving up the same ramp.
Oh yeah, gets a quick tag on one.
He's got to watch that zone, only 35 HP like you pointed out earlier, but he has a chance here to just take free shots essentially on teams that are rotating into the zone.
Look at this, they're scattered all in front of him. They continue to try to keep this high ground. 30 seconds as this zone continues to shift. Saint building on up. Morgossi now there as well. Funk Bomb and Nate Hill on the low ground. Blind with the pyramid on the top. There's someone up top as well. You see Hysteria frantically trying to stop that high ground from his opponent. 53 players remaining now as the elimination feed begins to light on up. Horrified drops to the storm. Hysteria still inching forward. Oh gosh though. They've got Dementos and Pate just above. Hysteria is just going to forfeit that high ground and float using the Glide to redeploy. And look at the
storm claiming so many lives there in the feed. Players going down, getting caught mid-rotation. Hysteria and Blind
27.
To establish.
That's how fast
half the field just went down.
It's because of these mountain plays, and now they've got to go right back.
Literally the opposite direction. They have to move through this structure, which Hysteria catches an opponent who doesn't even realize they're in the same box together. The storm starting to tick for 8 as Hysteria is trying to push up, getting caught. Another player shows up right next to him. It was Ghoul from Ghost. The storm claims Hysteria, but he got one just before he went out.
And Blind just got another knock as well. So that with Hysteria's 4th elimination, Blind's also got one. I just looked at the engagement feed right now. Frosty has 6 elims now at the moment there from Soar 2. So many players racking up the points now. 15 remaining in this game. Morgossi, who is the winner of the Summer Skirmish, still alive in this game 1 alongside his teammate.
This spread here, a very vertical set of players, 15 remaining. Pate and his teammate all the way up top. Morgossi and Saint trying to basically spray out the surfaces, looking for an opportunity to take a shot here.
Still in this as well.
14, no shield on the target. They're just going to go for the elimination. As soon as you see a white marker, that's called immediately by players at this level. Instantly.
Nate Hill and Funk Bomb now drop.
What an angle. 55 shield tag there.
Can't chase it. There it is.
On the way down.
8 players remaining. 13 on this zone. Remember, you begin to get towards the top 5 when you earn the points for placement as well. cloakzy still in this one. He's earned multiple eliminations as well with getting him and tfue a point. Pate and Dementos on the high ground. It's all going to come down to this. 8 players left. A quick shotgun tag comes in. Saint and Morgossi still playing, looking on down. No materials left. They're going to have to chase this one as he looks for any bit of damage he can get. He takes some fall damage as well. The stink drops him down to just 10 HP. He's going to float down the mountain. Everyone on one ramp. It's all-out warfare as he's down to 31 health. Floating to the low ground. These stinks are so good in this last zone.
Might spell defeat there.
You've got Saint now playing the high ground. He's got the reload. cloakzy's still in this too.
4 players left.
Oh, he's got this. He's got to have this. He's just playing the healer zone.
Kits.
You saw the smile as well. I think he knows he's got it. I think he knows he's got it. There's no way. cloakzy's done all he can. cloakzy's done all he can. That's it though.
Make some noise.
Pate with the heals.
Well played.
And just like that, they get it done. But you know what? cloakzy's hyped by himself. The man goes all the way to top 2 with, I believe, he had like 5 limbs on his own.
A valiant effort, honestly, but Pate, yeah, I mean, we saw at the end there 3 med kits, was sitting on a campfire, and there were multiple layers built between him and Cloak down at the bottom. It was basically unlosable at that point. Look at this view. He's just enjoying the time. Not a care in the world, Jack.
cloakzy just fought off like 3 duos by himself, and Pace is enjoying life up in the sky with a med kit, a campfire, staying warm there. He could have done that all darn day, but what a game number 1 to kick things off here from our grand finals. 100 of the best Fortnite players in the world have qualified from these heats. Obviously 50 duos with just shy of $2 million on the line, and if that's the start we're gonna have, then we're in for a great day. Remember, we're playing 6 games during this grand finals, and that's just the first one.
At the end there, like we pointed out, there was a clear from 50 down to almost 25 or less players remaining with 1 Storm rotation. We saw a Storm move basically back the direction it came, back across the hill, and the players at that point, as they get kind of smeared around the edge, they have to fight each other off for even the same ramps. We saw Hysteria following teams up their build as they put it down.
It's the mountains. It's the rise in the elevation that you can't push through it. It's not like normal when you're outside and you can just continue to run flat. You've got to go up these awkward angles, and you can only take so many paths, and you saw that's kind of how Hysteria's game ended there. We saw a few teams with at least 5+ elims in that one. I know the Sword duo had it with Frosty and Devious. I believe Hysteria and Blind did as well. And then at the end of that one, tfue and cloakzy. tfue didn't have an elim, I don't think, but it was cloakzy who by himself began to pop off, and I think got them second.
A number of eliminations, simultaneously at the end, because multiple teams were falling down on top of each other. We saw Saint and Morgassi basically clamoring for any surface. Morgassi was hit multiple shots as players were falling down out of the sky and utilizing their builds against them, because otherwise he would have, I mean, as soon as you pop your glider on the way down like that, you expose yourself, because players look for that. We're gonna take a look back at number replays from the previous match there. Game 1 of the grand finals, the Fall Skirmish here. Aiden and Nick Mercs establishing dominance in Tilted Towers. You'll keep it up in his teammate. Game Road catching the second of that pair. They'll buy off guard there. Bizzle and DMO. The usage of clingers there as they drop in on Bog and Raz. A 1v2 situation at that point from above is tough. It's going to be difficult to get out of that, and they don't. Bizzle, DMO claiming that pair there. Hysteria and Blind. This
moment was so nuts, as everyone was just trying to chase up the side of this mountain. Dean, see Lyle as well. Yo-Yo keeping it finally goes down, and look at the transition back. These ending zones that continuously move. Hysteria just kept getting caught.
And the shot there, 170.
Just huge as he drops Ghoul. Morgassi and Saint, you thought they had it. This was a great little flick. The headshot there, but paid at the end. And folks, I just received word, something we forgot to mention actually, to even sweeten the prize a little bit more. Every Victory Royale today, the winning team wins 50 grand. So,
surprise!
Paint for the heel at the end. Congrats.
$50,000.
You and your duo split $50,000. So we get to keep that in mind as well. You see the crowd alive and well, enjoying themselves here live from TwitchCon. A sold-out event. A massive crowd enjoying all the different Fortnite splendors that we have here. But Lupo, great game number 1.
Absolutely.
As we look back on it, you saw, we talked about in the Heat 1, too, on the start on Friday. There were some games where 0 teams landed Tilted Towers.
Which was surprising. Right? Oftentimes you see players, especially competitive players, they analyze the drops of their opponents. They'll watch out the back of the bus and see where people are floating to. And even on the way down, if you watch the mini-map, you can see some of the arrows spin like tops on the way in, because they're looking to see, they're trying to figure out where might be safe.
And you've got to think now, Godnick and Super Evan, as this goes on, they landed tilted. They knew, you know, Nick Mercs and Aiden are going tilted. You made that conscious decision to go and face them. They lost this fight. Do they change it up as this goes on? Do they go there again in game 2?
I'm going to be honest with you. I want to see a repeat of what we saw at PAX West between Nick and Aiden. I would be disappointed if they did not try to respond in kind in Tilted Towers.
That was really how Nick's day went south in this game, as Frosty tags him up. He tries to run away.
At that point, you saw Frosty just waiting for the rotation out. Aiden stuck in that box.
And yeah, at this point, there's just so many people everywhere. I mean, look at this. It's not even like, where should I land? It's, is there a place that I can even land? That's it.
You know it's bad when your best option is landing in a set of buildings that there's a fight literally already happening in. Now, Nick, the shots here. Excellent on Zexro, but gets caught off guard. by his teammate Vinny. Aiden trying to rotate in, do anything that he can to help Nick. In the middle of this fight, you see him dropping in there as Vinny and Zex. Vinny literally 1 HP at that moment, but Nick didn't realize that both members of that team were in this structure. Dropping down, trying to go for the save here.
Honestly, this fight probably looks a little bit different if Aiden on the way in doesn't take like 90+ points of damage. And you saw that's a really smart play from Aiden. They knew they were at 2 eliminations. He knew his game was basically done right there. And you see, he goes, I got him. He turned and hit that shotgun shot onto the down player. And because he does that extra damage, they are immediately bleed on out. And that puts it in the point there. You see the crowd getting behind him.
Oh, that
he says he can hear you. Folks, we've
Make
got
some
our update.
noise. There
we've got
it
our
is.
update for you. The Game 1 standings. Let's see who's on top. Where do we stack up in this ridiculous Fortnite lobby? Right at the top, it's cloakzy and tfue.
No surprise there. The gentleman from FaZe showing absolute dominance during Heat 1 and doing the same thing here.
Got 6
elims on his own.
tfue dropped.
4 points for that team. Snood and tfue from Ghost with 6 eliminations as well. A number of teams there, 13. The team from Soar, Devious and Frosty both putting together 6 eliminations total. And a solid spread of points across the entire board. There's your top 12 thus far. Here we go.
Get to the second half of the standings. There's Nick Merckx and Aiden.
13th place is nothing to bat an eye at, especially 3 eliminations, like you said.
Yep.
That secured, even just a single point to put you up on the board can mean everything towards the end. And every single point counts. I would not be surprised, though. We saw the Korean Nibs dropped 2 eliminations. A number of teams on your screen there, Bizzle and DMO, Vextro and Vinny, that we saw absolutely dominant in previous heats, Jack.
Yep.
Would not surprise me if they show up and put points up on the board this next game as well.
Well, that was just game number 1 in the books. tfue. You know he's probably not happy with how he went on out in game 1, but you know his teammate cloakzy made up for it as the hype at the end. Just when you think they might be down and out, no. The man goes and gets 6 elims by himself, puts him in that 2nd place spot. As we continue on forward with the live coverage here from TwitchCon of the Fortnite Fall Skirmish Finals. 5 weeks of competition, the introduction of the clubs. So much fun we had with the trials as well, all sorts of stuff. Yes, your normal Fortnite games, but then kind of these fun mini games, a good little twist on what we saw, a difference between the Summer Skirmish and here in the Fall Skirmish.
I feel like that's kind of the essence of Fortnite, as we've seen over a year now.
Yeah.
The game has evolved and changed, and these competitive players, on top of what we've seen on kind of the public match side, so they say, the competitive side has grown and changed with it, and you have players evolving their own play styles. The introduction to bringing in a mechanic from the Soaring 50s, the glider redeploy, we've seen even in the middle of some of those fights, Nick and Aiden took advantage of it at the L's and Tilted Towers in the middle of that fight with God, Evan, and Super Nick. We've seen that repeatedly from these players in almost a glorious fashion.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot to look forward to, but I've also just received word about something for the Make It Rain bonus. It was a tie, so guess what? The prizing will roll into game 2.
$60,000, Jack.
I hear the crowd.
Yeah.
You gotta realize, a lot of people here too, they probably dream to be in a scenario like this as well, getting to compete for this prize money in Fortnite. And now we're at $60,000 for the Make It Rain bonus. You know, we saw back during day 1, Heat 1, tfue and cloakzy finish at the top. Now in the grand finals after game 1, it's tfue and cloakzy at the top of the scoreboard. We caught up with them to hear their thoughts of the weekend so far. Let's take a look.
I've known him for so long.
Yeah.
Like 3 years, I think. Probably more.
2 or 3, 4 maybe.
Yeah.
4.
FaZe reached out to me and was like, hey, we're really interested. We want you to build a team. And tfue was shining at that point, and I hit him up, and we tried a couple duo tournaments together, and we ended up winning like a bunch.
Yeah.
So we're just like, let's just keep the ball rolling and let's go. Probably just getting to end game and not taking unnecessary damage.
Yeah, the biggest challenge I think would probably be safe zones. We haven't figured those zones out yet. I don't know, they just pop up wherever they want, and sometimes they don't go near us, so I don't know. We end up having to rotate across the whole map. There was one moment where like we were in a really bad position. Yeah. We probably would have died if it wasn't for a porta fort.
So do you want to bring us
back
back
a little bit aggro, and with the current safe zone, it didn't really work, but we still secured second. I died off a little bit early, but he clutched up and took us second.
Yeah.
Jack, name a more iconic duo than tfue and Cloak. I don't think you can.
It's tough. I mean, some come to mind right away. Tim, fall damage, you know.
Me and you.
You and I.
You and I.
It's a big step
forever.
for us. But, you know, you and Tyler had something special, but you know what? Had to come on in right there and
it's the way of the
swoop
road,
that
Jack.
away. It's the way of the road, as we hit a little bit of everything on the branding right there. But we get ready for game 2, about to hop on in. As we do get ready, some cloakzy replays because we missed some of those eliminations. Going down that mountain, I really learned something big. Stick grenades late game are everything. And look, right here, he had 3 limbs with 8 players left. Now everyone dropping down. He uses his glider, floats down early, and then he just looks up and begins to fry.
Look at his face, too. He might be one of the most calm players in a situation like this that I've ever seen. Literally, there are opponents falling on top of him, and it's just confidence the whole way down. That gold double barrel coming in absolutely massive, but here, trying everything he can to survive the last second.
He gets to a point where he realizes he's not going to be able to med kit up, so he's just got to look up and begin to spray. And unfortunately, as we mentioned, look at how high up their pate is. Just
hanging out
in the zone. Cloakzy did what he could all by himself. That's the beauty of duos, right? It's different than what we've seen from solos. We talked about it a little bit the other day, Ben, but again, reiterate for the viewers at home. What are some of the key differences between some of these solo competitions we'll see and now something like this in a duo format?
With solos, if you put yourself in a position that maybe a trade is going to happen, one player is going to be gone. You're eliminated immediately. But with duos, you kind of have a chance to push maybe a little more aggressively, put yourself in a situation where a trade isn't a big deal, especially if you have an opponent team split. You can take one down. Maybe your teammate gets knocked. You pick your teammate up and finish that, just secure the elim, and then it's a 2v1 situation depending on positioning. You can push yourself. You can set yourself up for plays like that far easier than you can in solos.
The huge thing as well, the communication factor.
Oh, absolutely.
Knowing exactly where the greatest threat is, being very clear on what your intentions are, on where the enemies might be looking at you from, when you plan to edit a wall, when you plan to release the edit back and kind of reset it. It is so key to make sure you are both on the same page, and communication is also something that completely changes the outlook of a game. The big thing we mentioned from Aiden and Nick Merckx, they both know aggression, pushing forward, that's their plan at all times. We saw when they hunted down Godnick and Super Evan back in game number 1 that there was no hesitation ever to chase on those glider redeploys. It's little things like that that help them claim Tilted Towers with ease.
And that's why these players show up here and put on they put on an absolutely excellent show.
Yep.
And there's quite a bit to pick up. So if you're at home and you're watching, if you're here and you're watching, make sure you're paying attention to how these players are playing, because there's a lot of information coming out every single time we watch anybody, even just down to the movements that they make. Now, every once in a while, you'll see a mistake, and maybe that's an opportunity to say, yeah, this person failed in this way. But it's also a chance to see how they recover from those things.
Yeah.
Because that is absolutely important.
Now remember, folks, there are not only thousands and thousands of people live watching here in San Jose, but there are hundreds of thousands of people watching online. We want to hear your predictions. We want to hear your thoughts, your live reactions. There you see on your screen. Use the hashtag Fall Skirmish or hashtag Fortnite TwitchCon. Tweet at Lupo, tweet at me.
Do it. Just do it. You don't have a reason not to. Just do it.
Because I need some. I think we're ready, though. I think game 2.
Are you ready for game 2, Jack?
You see our players there. I am ready. Difference. We got people using controllers. We've got people using mouse and keyboard. 6 games being played today. Game number 2 about to be underway. The Fortnite Fall Skirmish Grand Finals. We're having fun. Let's get it started, baby. The battle bus has launched. Game number 2 begins right now.
This time around, we have a northwest, kind of mid-east, headed towards Lonely Lodge, bus path. Players jumping on out. This is quite a stretch for some typical drops. You might see a later drop from the gentleman from FaZe, tfue and Cloak. We'll have to see here where they end up landing.
And there on your map at the top right, you also can look at where the Llamas are scattered.
You got 2 very close next to each other there, one in Dusty and one to the immediate southwest in that corrupted area. That one actually probably going to be pretty exposed. I'd almost bet you, though, the one in Dusty is in a tree. And up in Wailing Woods is so secure. Look at this.
You always wonder how a llama gets in a tree.
You made a paper mache. What are you doing up there? You see all these POVs all at the same time. Jack, that's a lot of information to take in. Actually, one thing I'm noting, though, if they're not still floating, immediately harvesting as many materials as possible in
yeah.
every single location that they may have dropped into. Aiden and Nick, you see up there in the top middle. Already in Tilted. The red apartment building, a pretty common drop. You hear the loot boxes popping open. And you can tell, even just by landing on the roof, audio cues are strong so that they can hear immediately what might be inside, if there's a chest or not. Got Nick and Super Evan back in their building as well. Looks like I got my wish, Jack. I wanted a rematch, and it's going to happen here, assuming they run into each other. Super Evan, for a second there, flipping through, has a trap, which has come in extremely clutch in Tilted in the past.
Yeah.
So many surfaces, even just natural surfaces you can place those things on.
And this is the same fight as last time.
This is the same fight as last time too. Punisher slowly ticking out there. It's like Germ playing in the dark potentially in his webcam.
This sums up how, you know, these beginning fights are a base pistol, an epic scoped assault rifle with 10 shots, and that's the whole loadout. Two gray SMGs as well. It's just so scrappy. I saw in the elimination feed again, Cease goes down almost instantly, and whoa, Tendons.
A 1v1 now, German Tendons facing off here. Let's see if Tendons rotating away. He does have 50 shield. He might not have the knowledge of whether or not Germ has shield of his own.
I think that the common shotgun that he's got is the difference here. Being able to get close with that tactical shotgun when his opponent has no shields, that's when the weapon's at its best. And another HP tag, that might be the kind of call to go. He wants to close the gap. Tendons looking to get revenge for his teammate Punisher. Jumps on over, will he spot the players? Doesn't appear so as of yet. Has he lost
track of him? The wall there, there's the knockdown. Finishes J-Love, a 1v1 now. Still trying to track down his opponent. The last of that duo, the shots going out. He's just kind of defend himself slightly. Has a chance to put the trap down if he needs it, if he feels like he's going to be invaded, but he doesn't have to. Quite a bit of ammo for that 1v1 situation. Back here, Nick looks like he's been knocked down already, but Aiden, 169 gets the knocking out. Like a 1v1, the shotgun, the crit, and Super Evan goes down, and Aiden saves the day. Don't worry, Nick. Aiden's got your back, bud.
And I can tell you right now how that happened. I noticed it in the feed. Nick Merckx got knocked by a trap. Aiden left by himself to clutch on up, and that's why Nick wanted a team with this incredible player right here. He clutches it. 2 games of Tilted, 2 victories in that area for Nick Merckx and Aiden.
BK and TJ out here, the little soccer stadium, watching for a rotation from a team that looks like they were just engaged with. TJ not doing too hot on HP. The heavy snipe in DK's inventory there. You see 19 heavy rounds. That thing often used for more than just long-range shots. The Gunfly Baldy here. Engaged with the shot.
Oh. Instantly eliminated Baldy with not really much to his name at all. Only 1 wall can be built. Basically just needs to hit a flick pub shot. As if is weak as well, but has at least enough metal to build a box and maybe can try to get the res on his teammate. And yeah, Baldy's got nothing to show for it.
Looks like he might be going for the bush here, waiting just long enough that the revive is going off. Stops the revive and catches him on the edit there. Baldy falls in, and 1 shotgun shot is all it takes from Ziff to save his teammate and secure the 2 elims.
And I mean, even that was calculated from Ziff, right? Doesn't release the res the second Baldy gets there. Doesn't panic. Knows it takes 3 hits with that pickaxe to break through the metal, which was just enough time to finish the res. Scoped assault rifle in the hands of Balla, and Bubba's there as well. He's bouncing back and forth, not a lot of HP to his name. Will he just deploy off this roof? It does appear so. They're going for it. They're risking it all right now, Lupo. Here's the quick challenge. No pump fired yet. Quick edit on the stairs. Unfortunately, will not be able to get a shot off in time. His opponent will get the high ground, and as he grapples, it looks like he'll have to give that up for the moment. Quick edit again. Fall on in. Nope. Nice little dodge in that shield. Might just be the difference. A great crack of the shotgun there. Oh.
Be very careful. Just barely gets clipped.
Linane and Sketch. Nice little victory there. But man, another scrappy fight. It's these early fights, Ben, that it's like, yes, you want them, but at what cost? But at what cost?
It all depends on kind of the situation that you and your teammate might be set up in. Even early game right now, so long as there's this many players left on the field, you don't necessarily know who you're up against unless it's a drop like this. Aiden and Nickmercs securing tilted as Zexro and Vinny look in from the outside. But you have an opportunity to secure a couple early game elims and maybe put yourself in striking distance for a point.
I think one player over by Kevin just did the extreme like boost launch.
You saw him way up in the air.
Yeah, that boost they use to get that high up, yes, it does 30 damage to you because of Kevin's shot, the cube, people call it Kevin. It launches you so far into the sky that you can fly anywhere on the entire map. Talk about the ultimate rotation.
Exactly, literally going anywhere from one pivot location is pretty crazy.
JDW and Ronan barreling down towards C9 blind and Hysteria.
Team floating in northeast.
Don't, I thought he was gonna try to take the shot.
I still want him to. He's got 25 heavy rounds, minus exposing your position.
Is this versus Vinny and Zexro? I'd assume so.
It almost has to be based on what we saw earlier.
And they were the ones who got in the fight earlier on. Zexro just gives it up. He flies away. And,
going for it, though.
Aiden's chasing this, and Nick is nowhere nearby. And you can tell that's their communication. Nick is saying, whoa, 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 whoa.
Another team shows up. Aiden might have playing out of position there is going to be tough. Hopefully he can save himself inside the factory building here west side of Leaky Lake, but we'll have to find out. Nick finally making his way over. Slowed down a little bit based on the building, and this split could be tough for Aiden and Nickmercs.
You got to wonder, did Aiden bite off more than he can chew? Nick now there, doesn't get any tags with the assault rifle, and Aiden, look at the health. Down to just about 30 left. He's got some minis he can pop in time. And the zone's now there as well. Nick's just going for it. He's in a fight by himself, gets a tag twice with the pump shotgun, no limb yet. Pops the rift to go and drags one player with him as he's basically just trying to reset this fight. Scrappy stuff all around Leaky Lake. Players all over the place. Nick with no healing left, no shields he can pop. Aiden very low as well. Sees one just below, but can't get a tag again with the assault rifle.
That second mini, anything to build up as much of a buffer in terms of taking damage as they can. I think Aiden, though, have a top down on his opponent, uses the stink, kind of damages himself a little bit, but look for the shotgun shot, gets the knock on Zex with that stink grenade.
Beautifully placed grenades
underneath there.
Does one tag, and it doesn't appear so. He's got Aiden firing down as well. They need this final limb. I believe if they get this, it'll put them at 4, so they've already got another point in this one. Aiden traveling on in, looking to give Nick the help he needs. Can't connect again with a shot. Nick goes down. Will Aiden hit the shot? He's whiffed a few times now.
No,
and he's got no builds. No, Vinny! Rips him in 2. It will be 1 point earned for Nickmercs and Aiden, but Vinny clutches up, and I'm going to be the first one to say it. Aiden missed some shots there.
He did. The early aggression, the push away from Nick, potentially a bad play call, and they may have paid the price because of it. That early split put Aiden in a bad spot. Saf and Cool. Takes Majin out. Very low HP on the Majin teammate, and there's the shot. Saf able to pick Ghoul up right after that. Dean and Lyle here on the just southwest of Tomato. Trying to avoid kind of any engagement they can here, but they do have a target right in front of them, rotating left to right. You see that around inside, probably a structure that they own. Maybe not realizing, but another team flying in at this point too. 8 seconds left till the rotation starts. The zone gonna close. And they're gonna have to make some moves. There's a lot of building over there in Tomato. Somebody may potentially still be there or just prepping to move shortly. The replay from Morgassi and Saint. A quick edit and a shot.
170.
Rizar goes down to a 170. And the elimination finish there. The teammate decides to engage in a 1v2 situation, and Tamo gets picked out of midair by Morgassi. Showing quite a bit of accuracy. That's multiple eliminations in both games now where players are flying through the air, either towards or away from him.
And now we always talked about back on day 1, Vinny and Zexro, how scrappy they were fighters. They got near the most eliminations in their heat. Well, guess what? They're already at 5 elims this game. Vinny and Zexro have earned themselves 2 points alone right now. Most elims in this game right now, it is Vinny at 3 himself. Impressive stuff yet again.
70 players left. Match, 11 minutes processed through this match. It's still 70 remaining. Ronaldo and Ziff here. set of opponents up above. Now that height advantage, it used to be, it's aggressive in a sense that you have a peak chance on opponents that are moving underneath you. But now you'll see here too, that single ramp means somebody's going for an aggressive push. J-Truth flying over the top, moving closer to the zone. He's going to take some damage on the way in. Plus he's solo. Looks like Wilds is out. Potentially an attempt to gatekeep here. He's safe inside the zone. They're going to have to rotate through his line of sight. Maybe they could use the hill in front of him. Move through, but Ronaldo popping across a little hippity hops. Ziff and Ronaldo moving, I believe, still over towards J-Truth.
I mean, look at the whole inventory for J-Truth. An assault rifle and a shotgun.
At least he's got quite a bit of medium ammo. 235 is exceptional for this early in the game. 73 shotgun shells. I don't think he's going to run through those anytime soon. But Jack,
more shots down low and up. Time. Make it rain period.
$60,000, Jack.
60 grand for the player or the duo. The most eliminations during this next 5-minute and 15-second window. Who will it be? It was a tie in game 1, so the money rolled on over. The Make It Rain bonus now at $60,000.
J-Truth following closely behind a duo in front of him. Still got quite a bit of material sitting on 027. He's over almost 100 builds of his own. See a couple sets of players in front. Gonna float in there. We swear the glider was deployed.
He's continuing to just use his opponent's builds to get as high as possible.
Saving materials in that situation, an intelligent play too. You don't want to burn through too much. 2 Rift to goes. 264 on the materials. He's got a trap.
This
Gold AR.
Razaru's got to be happy with the loadout right now.
I'm happy with his loadout right now.
Not even involved.
Snipe shots coming in directly southeast of him right there. You see the little tower. Ball getting tagged. Looks like 1 time for 22 damage. Gonna float in next to his teammate and just build up underneath. They're inside the safe zone. No need to get overly aggressive. They want to play for position here. Even though the Make It Rain bonus is 60K, you're gonna see competitive players like this opt for placement. They're gonna go for strategy every single time.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the most populated, I think, retail row has ever been.
New people are moving in.
A number of strategies. We discussed this previously, Jack, but remind people watching at home or here in San Jose, why do you see players replace the walls of houses?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. It makes a lot of sense when you hear it. They want to be able to edit and peek out of wherever they can. They want to have control over as many exits as possible. It's a battle royale. You can get pushed from anywhere, and they know this, especially with this many players left. Instead of leaving those old walls there, you replace it all with your own. And just like that, you've used the natural cover to be able to farm materials. Then you place it with your own cover to then be able to peek on out and either get aggressive and get shots on an opponent, or have some quick edits to be able to escape with ease.
Ghost, DMO, DMO and Bizzle in the small structure on the side there. You see a ton of teams kind of building up here. Morgassi and Saint have kind of an elongated structure there. They do have 1 shadow stone inside, so they need to sneak out. One of them, it appears, can. Not sure if there's a second one nearby or not that they could kind of build a tunnel to secure 2 if needed. Let's see here, a couple edits down below. But this is might be one of the largest structures I've seen a team build to establish a base kind of ever, which could be good and bad, Jack. Multiple directions for teams to push in on. They can't necessarily defend a wall in the way that they would want to, but they have the ability to kind of back up and close up these edits. You see a lot of those slanted edits just waiting in case they need to retreat. Looks like there is a second cube in there if needed. Maybe that's the reason for the extended building here.
And you see how many materials gathered so far for Morgassi this game.
Well, 1,000 wood, 621 brick, 400 metal. Still sitting on quite a bit. 463, the material count on the right side of your screen. Zate goes down. Cloak and tfue there at the very top of your screen. Rotations are happening. 53, 52, 51 seconds till the next circle. 2 minutes left on the Make It Rain bonus for 60 grand. Dean and Lyle gonna try and pop this shield. He's got sitting on 3 big shields, 3 minis. His loot setup is actually fantastic.
Oh yeah, with a launch pad as well. Fog bomb and Nate Hill.
Raz the feed, knocking Lyle and finishing, gets that elimination.
Again, just looking to third party any builds. Just want a free shot. No.
Intelligent play, putting the wall up, kind of, you saw that player on your screen that Nate was going to take a shot at, was ramping and walling, knowing that to his left side there was an opportunity for opponents maybe to take shots at him. Defensive play, burning materials, not sure how many that player was sitting on, but that's covering your tracks while you're moving is a good call every single time.
How many
Raz getting bodied, it looks like by Nate Hill, the snipe shot there and looking for the finish, but builds themselves in. Raz and Bog on the move. Now Nate and Funk. We've seen these guys.
It was Nate that sniped tfue in game 1 to eliminate him. Once again, Nate Hill moving into the zone, wanted to make sure he stays near his teammate. You saw how he was building up, and then his teammate began to take control of the low ground, so he followed real quickly, but now a player just behind him.
The speed at which Nate just turned around to replace that wall is impressive.
Right?
Spun like a top. 40 seconds left. The Make It Rain bonus. Fuzzing the feed, eliminating Yo-Yo, keep it up. Couple points left and right. No team that is alive right now, though, Jack, has 3 or more eliminations. Saf and Ghoul have 2. R7 and R7.
Yep.
Morgassi and Sane have 2. Vinny still with 3 eliminations of his own, but they're no longer in this one. 56 players remaining. 17 seconds till the circle closes. 15, 14 seconds to Make It Rain bonus. We'll have to see here.
And look at Satan Morgassi's build now. You'd almost think that was 2 teams.
It's large enough to be that way.
Right?
I wouldn't be surprised if one team forced on a rotation moves into the other half of this building.
And that's it for the Make It Rain, just like that. So we'll keep you guys updated on if that prize money was won, the $60,000.
Jack, the first circle move is coming up here in 40 seconds. Half of the new safe zone is still inside, which means there's a number of teams up there on the north side, just inside of retail. They're going to stay safe. And that's a good opportunity to third party, wait for teams on rotation, try and build up some eliminations. Maybe a big bonus during this game. We'll have to wait and see. I know that Cloak and tfue, based on our previous views, are inside the safe zone, and they're notorious for excellent third party opportunities.
And also remember, for every victory royale, that team that wins it wins $50,000 too. So that's in the minds of everyone as well. The zone about to begin to close. Everyone going to frantically have to go, and now it's Shadowstone time. They're going to go ahead and clip right through these walls, use this launch, and just go for it.
They're trying to get up as high as possible.
When you bounce, you can just continue to launch in the air, and you'll actually keep going higher and higher up. This is such a smart play. They're inching towards the zone, and they're so high up in the sky, no one's even going to think about them.
Did you see the smirk on Morgassi's face? They're just floating up there. And even when this thing runs out of time,
they're going to fly all the way to game 3.
Exactly. They're going to end up there.
They're going to land on a different map. I mean, they just keep to go. They just keep on climbing.
Looks like the last 45 seconds should be running out relatively shortly. A very intelligent play from this
was so smart, man.
Dean dropping Hysteria and finishing, getting the elimination with the SMG in the feed there. And the setup on Saint, you saw on the bottom right, very good. Nate getting the knock on Fuzzy, which means his teammate Enigma should still be in there. Ghoul going down to a trap from I Don't Game Bro in the feed, the knock and the elim. Saf, R7 both knocked by the storm. tfue picking up an elimination on Bizzle. Nate secures that elim on Fuzzy there. Nate and Funk are going to have to, actually they're just barely safe. They're right inside the edge of the zone here. They have a number of teams that are neighbors. Depending on what this next circle looks like, they might be in a perfect position if they have to move the direction that they're sitting right next to the storm, or they might have to move quite a bit. Babe and Payne have a top down on a number of players. Here we go. Funk and Nate looking to pick up some eliminations, catching teams rotating from underneath.
We're now 20 minutes into this game, and there's still 45 players remaining.
I think that kind of shows the strategic play that these competitive players kind of lean on. Yeah, there might be massive bonuses for elimination counts and such, but making moves.
Nice shots.
Keep yourself alive. The window, going for the shoddy shot, his opponent just starts to back up, and Blind gets caught off guard, which means Hysteria was down already. An instant elimination on Blind.
They do have a launch pad. Not sure if they're going to use the Morgassi. Hiding by himself. He's just right now playing more towards looking, see if people push from behind him and maybe get a free elimination just like this. A nice crack there with the shotgun. But now there's players down low, and he gets ripped in half by Crodot.
His teammate Saint didn't have any eliminations, so it looks like they missed out on a point just barely there. The FPS and Flame trying to rotate in the sky here. Everybody's going to keep moving south. The material situation not looking too bad right now. Hopefully they can catch another team off guard and pick up some more. Yeah, we can hear the crowd behind us.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to cast what I just saw on my screen. So they got to move again. I mean, look at this. It is an all-out sprint as the lobby is going to begin to drop like flies to FPS and Flame, still near this mid to high ground. Definitely above more than 80% of the lobby. Giganza up top with Villix. We saw them do well yesterday. Base Soldier and Marksman still in this one as well. Payne on the low ground alongside tfue and cloakzy. Chap still alive too. We haven't talked a lot about him, but we know just how good he can be late game. Lanane drops to the zone. Bogdan drops to the zone. Nolan and Crodot both will drop to the zone. tfue trying to inch forward. The Storm still pushing. Now at 17 health, he's got to go. Yeah, they're going to fall all the way down.
Low still sitting pretty with quite a bit of HP, a little bit of shield, just lost some right there.
Got a med kit right now.
Med kit is going to drop the slurp. Cloak can pick it up. The play here, looking to secure Cloak, is basically a tank in this situation, trying to top him off as much as he can, while tfue uses the med kit.
Top 13. tfue and cloakzy still alive. Remember, coming into this, they were already first in points after game 1. There's one for cloakzy. 11 players now left. How about another as more begin to drop on down? He's going to grapple up to the high ground, trying to chase these limbs. There's more players still above him. Great job with those roofs. 11 players left. Who will begin to earn placement points in this game? He's going to rain down grenades as he still has 2 more in his inventory. Not a lot of mats left. Base Soldier with a limb down unprovoked. 9 players now left. Base Soldier and Marksman are so weak. And with grenades floating on in, you've got to think the end could be near. tfue eliminates Payne. You've got Snood on the high ground as well. He's got no walls! tfue and cloakzy with another. 6 players left. He still has 3 big shields. He can't use one yet. cloakzy with another knock. tfue's going to drop to the Storm. It's all on cloakzy yet again. Can he clutch up? He got second in game 1 by himself. 27 seconds remaining. You see everyone else is so weak, you've got to think this is cloakzy's game to take. He's got the medal as well. 1 player floating down on him. He tries to react in time. The tag. He's got him weak. A lot of fall damage. No builds. Oh no, Marksman clutches it out. No, second place. Dementos wins it with 12 HP. I thought Marksman had it. I thought he did. cloakzy is the MVP so far today, man, with the plays he's making.
Right there at the end, though, Dementos securing second place, and Pate knocked out first for that duo the game before. Excellent placement for these two so far. Marksman living on almost a prayer towards the end of that match. If we saw his HP over the course of the previous 3 minutes. You see here, this stack of players here. Marksman down there, you see very bottom of the screen, the number 57. He must have had 15 HP or less. Still alive, bottom of this stack, just waiting it out with a Storm, kind of taking his time, taking shots up above. There it is. An excellent set of plays. Cloak and tfue lasting almost until the last second. We've seen those two, like we said, all for T1 put on an excellent show.
Oh, yeah.
This is just the build-up. I expect big things from them next game.
Remember,
the momentum
Royale
starting.
is $50,000. So Marksman was 1 shot away, obviously, with how weak Dementos was. You saw there the victory coming on in. Congratulations to Dementos and Pate for that victory royale. That'll earn them at least 3 points too.
Plus another $50,000. That's $100,000 based on victory royales for that duo alone.
Pretty nuts
I hope
stuff.
they realize that, because if they don't, they're gonna soon.
Pretty nuts stuff. No matter what, tfue and cloakzy, another very good placing though. You've got to think they probably continue to hold on to that lead after game number 2. We are just a third of the way through the action, folks, for the Fortnite Fall Skirmish Grand Finals live from TwitchCon. tfue dropped to the Storm there after he got cracked by a shotgun, which dropped him down to, I believe, just 5 HP. This packed crowd, people wanted to grab some food, wanted to make sure they're locked in and ready for the action that will continue. Just a few brief moments, but either way, fantastic start to the day, to say the least.
Now, I want to point out, as the camera's panning over the audience here, which, by the way, make some noise if you're here in San Jose, please. Yeah. One of my favorite things about the Fortnite competitive community is the support that you see from every single player.
Oh, yeah.
As we were looking through there, I saw, Vivid, can you raise your hand? I saw him out there in the crowd.
What a guy.
They're all part of the same group. They're all friends, and you can see that behind the scenes. And even here on camera, you've got people watching these games because they want to support their teammates, Jack.
You know, they feel a connection. A lot of these guys stream, they make videos, they're people in the community, they're involved as well. You see Saf, this was the play.
Speaking of supporting your teammates, Saf picking up the save there. No. Giganza flying up. We've seen him with the grappler in previous games. during the heats and just putting on an excellent show flying up top there. The grappler, one of the best utility items in the game right now.
100%. 100%.
Lyle and Dean, you have some crazy plays from all these players, but Cloak, this top-down view on a number of players mid-fight. The positioning knowledge from players like him, it's unbelievable. They know exactly where to be and when to be, and not overbuild. We've seen some players overbuild and put walls up preemptively, but man, this duo already 2 wins, 2 victory royales under the belt. That's gotta feel good, Jack.
Oh man, that's absolutely nuts. As there, you know, we've got our updated standings we can take a look at here momentarily as we hop on in, firing them right to you. No, okay, because of the victory royale.
There it is.
Dementos and Pate will now take that top spot, having that tiebreaker, even though they have, what, 6 less limbs than cloakzy and tfue. It's the victory royale tiebreaker that makes a difference.
Back-to-back for the Dementos and Pate, which is huge. 7 points on the board. And 6 less eliminations is, I think that's saying something.
Yeah.
Placement does mean quite a bit. Nobody's pushed their way into the big bonus zone yet. You know, those additional eliminations past 7, each earning that duo a single point.
I don't know why I forgot that that's back-to-back for them.
That's, Jack, that's 2 in a row.
I kept hearing you mention it, like, wait, is that true? But then I'm like, yeah, I guess Ben's not lying.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if they win the next game, that would be the first 3-peat in skirmish history.
I'm not going to try to correct you because I don't know if that's true.
I'm pretty sure
You might have made that up.
I absolutely might have made it up. Actually, I'm
Nick
curious.
Merckx and Aiden still in that 13th spot. Each game they get 3 limbs, earning them a point. No change there.
Hopefully somebody in production can double check. Honestly, that's such a big fact. If they go for a 3rd one right now and land that victory royale, that would be the first 3-peat.
Think of all the, they're right now in first, which means that they would win $400,000 for that if it stayed this way. But they've already won $100,000 today because of their 2 victory royales.
I can't believe that. That's ridiculous.
Mentos is my favorite player. He's a great friend of mine.
I'm telling everybody that you play with that you said that.
See if he wants to go to a steakhouse or something.
Because
it's on him.
It's on him, absolutely.
Now, guess what? We finally have ourselves a Make It Rain winner.
$60,000 for this duo.
$60,000 earned for this duo during the Make It Rain bonus. And there it is. All they needed was 2 eliminations. 2 Fortnite limbs netted. Yo-Yo, keep it up. And I don't game, bro. $60,000 US. That's
ridiculous for only 2 elims, which shows during those rotations
how slow it is.
The focus of these players is strategy, it's positioning.
Yep.
Even 60 grand isn't enough to make people shift their play style, and that's huge. That's a big statement about how important it is to go for the top placements in here. Is not even $60,000 enough motivation for these players to play out of their wheelhouse.
And right there, I can't tell if they've found out yet what's happened, but they're just big chilling. Oh wow, the seating has now leaked into the Lazy Links area as people soon
might
are
be a golf
in the
hazard,
merch
Jack,
booth
but who cares?
Watching, watch out for flying golf balls
Competitive
everywhere.
Fortnite changes the rules,
right?
Jack.
Hey, it's fine. It's fine. As this crowd repping their favorite clubs, the Dusty Dogs. They're the pennant that everyone here attending has had the chance to go ahead and pick up for free. Lucky Llamas in the back there as well. You'll love to see it. As again, we are just a 1/3 of the way through the action. This is not like days 1 and 2 where we only play 4 games in a heat. In the grand finals, the culmination of the Fortnite Fall Skirmish, 6 games. So even if you have an off 1 or 2, and as we've seen, all it takes is 1 solid game and you're boom. You could be right there in the top 10, top 5.
We've got 4 games left, Jack. I'm curious if we see players start to go for a big bonus for that the elimination point push to see if they can climb the board just a little bit more. Because once you get to 7, don't get me wrong, 7 is absolutely impressive, but every elim after that is another point, which can change your position on the leaderboard entirely. Now this view here as players are dropping down, Cloak and tfue down here at the bottom, Marksman reminding people that, I might not have a whole lot of HP left, but I'm still alive.
I think
with Dementos.
I'm wondering if Marksman had to reload. I think he swapped and just in that time where he was swapping from his double barrel, couldn't get the shot off in time. I mean, that couldn't have been more down to the wire.
Look at that. The reaction from those players. Dementos might have missed the pump action shotgun shot, but swapping immediately to the AR. And
imagine how bad he would have felt there. Missing that pump shot at Marksman.
Don't put that on them, Jack.
Hey,
the caster's curse might still be real.
They're doing okay. They've already won 100 grand. So they're feeling great. We will have an interview very, very shortly for you guys. Actually, I believe we've got Cam down on the floor with Dementos and Pate. Let's hear from them.
Yes, we do. We have these two fine gentlemen here who have shown just how dominant they can be. We predicted them on day one to show up huge, and so far they have. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling awesome, man. 2 in a row in the grand final. Like, that's incredible, man.
It really is. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. It's actually insane that we can.
So in that first game, the heel off, you seemed pretty confident. You were sitting there, you were sitting pretty. Let's talk about that a little bit.
I don't know. We just played our game. Like, we were really confident before the start. I don't know. We just play our game and.
So far, you guys have taken both victory royales, and you're sitting on top. However, Cloak and tfue right behind you guys, same number of points. You hold that tiebreak with the victory royales. Are you nervous?
Not nervous, man. We're gonna make it 3 in a row.
Not nervous at all. Easy.
So in that 3 in a row, we have not seen 3 match wins in a row. Can the Latvian and the Norwegian do it? We'll see. Back to you, Courage and Lupo.
Wow, you heard him say 3 in a row. They're calling it right now.
Easy.
Wow. If they win 3 in a row, they have to give each of us $10,000 of their dollars.
They do.
Yeah,
It's in the contract. They didn't realize it,
Yep.
and it's going to happen. I mean, I think it's going to happen.
And then
Jack.
they have to give $5 to everyone in the
Every
crowd
single
as
person
well
here, yeah.
for lunch, right?
See?
All right, good.
They're on board, it seems. So
Good
are we.
point. They're set. They've got their travel already booked. What else are they going to do? I believe I've received word from production that we might just kind of keep this thing going and get into game 3 right away. We are getting the lobby all set up, but instead of taking a brief break now.
What do you guys think? You think just
keep
going into the 3rd game, keeping this thing rolling? Good idea? That's what I thought. I think everybody here in San Jose is on board. We're at TwitchCon. And I've had an absolute blast of weekend, Jack. But, man,
sure.
More Fortnite, I'm not going to say no.
No.
I won't complain.
Not at all. I will not be upset about it. So far, from what I've seen, haven't talked a lot about Chap. And that duo there with 72 hours, when, will they begin to make more noise as this goes on? We saw some, critiques of certain players from the previous days where maybe they played a little bit too passive, and that came back to bite them from other people that didn't qualify. You got to think some of those teams that are lower down on the leaderboards right now, do they start going for more of those early eliminations? If you're Super Evan and Crazy, who have been landing inside of Tilted and have lost both games nearly off the bat to Nick Merckx and Aiden, is it time to change things up?
I feel like Super Evan and Godnick are in a position now where they have to have figured out the rotation path that these two take. They know exactly which building they're going to drop in. So even if they still want to go to Tilted, they don't necessarily have to play aggressive towards them. They can land the large gray building, rotate away through New and down to the pawn shop down at the bottom. Couldn't remember what it was off the top of my head for some reason. There are paths that they can take if they want Tilted to be their landing zone, but are potentially intimidated, not in a necessarily bad way, but just want to avoid that fight because like you said, it hasn't paid off the last 2 matches, and I feel like they had to have learned from that by now.
Oh, for sure. And you've got to think that comes into play. I do see the lobby filling on up here, folks. What a start we've had to the finals so far. We're just 2 games in. Game 3 about to be underway. Can't stress it enough. Use those hashtags if you're watching Fortnite TwitchCon. You see as well Fall Skirmish. Get involved in the conversation. The question I have for you, will tfue and cloakzy take back the top spot from Dementos and Pate? Tweet us. Let us know. And give me your reasoning.
Even as you're mentioning it, Jack, the crowd behind us kind of going a little nuts there.
Yeah.
I love to see the support for all these different duos, and a lot of these duos have become very rooted in the community. There's a lot of people that are out here. Look at that, everybody T-posing. The T-pose
starting in the crowd.
All the T-pose.
As
everybody knows there, man.
They look great.
Just the nods, slow nods.
As again,
one of the creepiest emotes in the game, man. I'm just saying.
Oh, for sure.
Freaks me out.
Scariest emote, one of the scariest emotes by far.
It is.
Because when you least expect someone T-posing,
I feel like you're the kind of person, like if we were mid-conversation just out at like out on the town or whatever, you might just do that while I'm talking, and I wouldn't know what to do, Jack.
Did you just think I'm gone and you stop talking?
You're like,
if I'm
Jack,
bored of
where
what you're
did you
saying,
go?
I just T-pose in real life. And
you know my vision is based on movement, Jack.
Oh, it does happen with old age. It does happen with old age. Thankfully for everyone here, Ben and I can stop talking about T-posing and can start talking about game
Absolutely.
3. Because here we go, folks. The battle bus has launched. At the end of this game, we'll be halfway through the action. You think we'll ever be able to explore that mountain out there one day in Fortnite?
I think anything's possible if you dream big enough, Jack. All right?
Why doesn't the mountain have a name?
We'll call it Courage Mountain.
Okay.
Deeming it right now. That's not Epic approved, by the way. Don't actually refer to that anywhere official. Thank you.
Here we
Players
go.
starting to drop out, Jack.
Chap in 72 hours. They're going whaling. You know they are.
don't blame them. It's one of the best locations right now, early game to drop. The cabins have a number of chests in the attics and down in the basements. You also have the giant bunker underneath where the maze is. It's interesting too to me that the surface there, that floor is wood that is painted green. Did you fall for that at first? Be honest with me.
I had no idea. I had to be told by my chat what was going on down there.
Not surprised in the slightest.
I mean, then again, the other memes, I didn't know what to believe because bunker and whaling has been the going meme for 4 seasons now.
Every single time an event happens, guys, the bunker's open, go check it out, and it's not yet.
The bunker is where my hopes and dreams lie.
A couple of these players already picking up big shields there. Bandits and Windwalker both going to sit at 150 in a moment there. Dementos and Pate, the back-to-back winners, actually with a split drop, which is relatively surprising, on top of the hill and down at the corrupted area. But you know what? If nobody else is around, which they aren't, you might as well. But they're not the only split duo here. We have actually a handful of teams that have landed in relatively separate areas. The play there, Jack, if they know that there's nobody around, they have a chance to build up resource, weaponry way faster than anybody else. Even tfue and Cloak right here. Cloak building up as he's ramping back up to the bridge there. He's going to go for the glide in to tfue. Going to grab that slurp up top. And if you're a FaZe supporter here in San Jose, make some noise, please. Oh yeah, Jack. Round 3 potentially here. Jerem and J-Love at... Oh, it is Tendons and Punisher, which, by the way, if you recall, Tendons actually won a game of Summer Skirmish solos with a trap. Do you remember that play? Because it was crazy.
That was actually nuts.
Jerem getting the knockdown on Punisher, the pistol, the hand cannon, tack, and green burst here in J-Love's inventory. Not too bad early game.
They have such a health advantage. I mean, already with 177, there's the elimination. And these early game fights, I mean, these guys, they know they're coming to this point. They know what to expect, but it's just got to be so frustrating. Like, most times, these fights, both teams have been either, like, one team is a limb, the other team has one player left, and they just never let themselves be in good spots.
A quick wall replacement into an edit. Tendons down below, just sitting, waiting, biding his time, maybe throwing off. Did they lose track of him? Nope,
No,
looks
not
like
anymore.
J-Love has an idea here, looks through the surface there in the corner, the tack shot. Tendons goes down to his teammate's rocket launcher, actually. You hate to see it, but a good position there for Jerem and J-Love.
Oh, wow.
Nick, Aiden already down and eliminated as Nick Merck says, yeah, you guys don't get to finish together either.
Whoa, Superman, or Super Evan,
Very
and Godnick. They get a point on the board, and in Tilted, not a point yet for the score. They need one more limb, but they have won themselves Tilted Towers this game, it appears.
Now, do you consider dropping into the same location, which they lost that 2v2 previously twice in a row? Is that confidence, or is that them just being stubborn?
I'll tell you, you know, game 1, it wasn't that close. Game 2 was absolutely close with Aiden clutching up. Game 3 goes down to 1v1, and oh no, the Clingers drop over peak just like that. Dopeye will be left all by himself.
He does pick up 2 elims of his own. Dopeye looking down another. Maybe he didn't realize there was a gold AR under that ramp back there that he did not pick up.
Nolan just fell to his death. He didn't pop or redeploy on the glider. And that's something that we've actually seen a couple times. It's like, when you're still in those panic moments, you've played a year of Fortnite essentially, where there's no such thing as glider redeploy, where you fall from those builds and you were like, oh, I'm done. There, had the chance to redeploy the glider so that it didn't, you know, die to the extreme fall damage, but actually does wind up dropping to it. Might be a little bit of a panic scenario, nerves getting to him on the main stage, who knows. Swapping on over to Retail Row now as Enigma and Fuzzy are playing from this high ground. Fuzzy actually locks himself there. Does get the shield tag, and that difference in audio tells Fuzzy that this player has no shield left, and that's why he gets so darn aggressive. One more just above. His shield now gone as well. He needs help from Enigma.
A little bit of fall damage there. Fuzzy, without a shotgun right now, makes it a little tougher to play up close. A lot of players leaning on that shotgun. The amount of damage you can deal just so fast. A quick burst of damage can mean the difference between knocking your opponent, getting knocked yourself, and without one, it's tough to make aggressive pushes. But Enigma, the tack, great tactical shotgun, taking some shots there. 67 shield, gets the elimination on Imperial Howl.
Nice cleanup there, and that's the help they needed. I mentioned Fuzzy was getting weak. Enigma had to step in and soak some shots, and there you go. Good little bait and switch now over to Blind and Hysteria. Early on, they Did well back in game number 1 of this grand final. Had more of a quiet game 2.
At this point, they've got to just be trying to root out. And there you go, the angle from the side. Blind, kind of, it's like turning a flashlight on roaches, you know, trying to get them to move around a little bit underneath as Hysteria is waiting from the side to get an angle. And he's got one right there if he could take the shots, and he just barely misses his opportunity to do so. Gonna make a push up to try and stay with Blind. You don't want to be too separate. You might have an angle from underneath. And Blind from above the sandwich here. The rocket and Blind down to 29 HP might mean the difference between winning this or not. And it looked like Blind in that engagement was getting shot from a third party. They might not be alone yet, and they're not. Blind and Hysteria both very low.
They have
grenades still coming in. The med kit, hopefully he's got 10 seconds to pop this off in Hysteria.
And this is that feeling that everyone knows when playing Fortnite. You're just almost praying that that you could get this med kit off in time, right? He's just sitting there.
Don't push me. Don't push me, please.
That 10 seconds takes forever to go by.
Looks like Rise are potentially going hard right for a flank. We'll have to see how that plays out shortly. But over here, Leaky Lake, Saf, and Ghoul rotating towards Tilted, or potentially just past it. Tilted won't be safe yet. We'll have to see what comes out from that. But this 2v2 Soar, Zextro, and Vinny. A team from Soar we've seen with solid gameplay in the past, the last 2 games. Wouldn't be surprised if we see the same here, but Zextro and Vinny also putting on an excellent show during their heats. Zextro, one of the more aggressive players we've seen, and he's going for it down on bottom. His opponent closing the edit, even though he took a little bit of damage through there, popping Snub Shield, anything he could do. The slurp ticking there. Devious rotating outside, Frosty's stuck in a box underneath too. These angles are gonna be tough, Jack, because up close you have almost barely no time to make shots here, and Zextro pays the price. Devious might tick out to the storm, gets knocked and eliminated. 1v1. The shot 93, the shield, and cannot get the spray.
How weak was he? Yep.
21 left as the storm's ticking.
And look at all this loot Frosty now has. I will say, Frosty, Devious, and there you saw Vinny and Zextro, 4 of the more aggressive players in the lobby trying to hunt down those eliminations. And I think those 2 teams combined probably would have the most elims so far today if you took 2 teams and added them on up of any one of these lobbies.
On the left side of the screen there for a second.
Maybe tfue and cloakzy as well.
Potentially.
Yeah.
You saw the just a quick reference on how much material is harvested relative to what he's carrying right now. Full wood, 877 brick, 476 metal. We have not seen this early. 78 players left, and he's sitting on over 2,000 materials, 200 plus builds, a launch pad, 3 clingers. He's got an excellent setup right now. With a tac shotgun too, you don't necessarily need a swap weapon like we've seen with a heavy shotgun or a pump. So he's not missing out there just yet. Now the rift to go there looks like they're gonna bounce on out and try and get away as the storm is 1 minute and 15 from closing. And Germ going for it, potentially leaving Jayla behind to pick up the sniper, dropping that grenade launcher. Bizzle on the feed, securing an elimination on Cease. And I'll be honest with you, Jack, I'm waiting to see 72 Hours and Chap show up, right? Hopefully at some point here. The feed been a little quiet this game. Felix eliminating Dopeye with an SMG there. Right now, the most eliminations on any player in this game, too, Jack, is Super Evan, who took out Nick Merckx and Aiden and Tilted. Won that round 3 of that matchup. Saf and Ghoul go for a little pop here and fly across through the corrupted area. He's going to try and grab, the Shadow Cube. We've seen players use this to fly through the air with ease.
Now, I did just receive word from production that player, if you remember from that the Frosty and Devious fight earlier, Frosty was in the zone and spent about 1.5 minutes in the zone healing, looting, and was so deep and now has to go so far that he flew up to the top of the Kevin Island and used the super boost from Kevin to fly all the way to this new zone. Again, a sign of a great player who knows how to use those insane rotations you can get. Spent all that time healing, and because he knows that little tactic, could wind up getting everything he wanted and then getting to the next zone with more than enough time.
Now that materials used list there on the left side, honestly significantly lower than we've seen a lot of other players, but it might not matter. A Chug Jug to carry.
Do they see it? They have
Quad,
seen
they
it,
picked
right?
up a campfire as well, some minis.
Low on materials though for Ghoul. Here's Nibs in Korea again. They're always down towards the side of the map now at Racetrack. It looks like Perfect Tilt and Diggy had him trapped. in this back room. He sneaks on into the walls. With no trap to use, Nib goes down.
Pro, the top-down view on pretty much everybody here. Tilt and Diggy taking shots. We saw them yet again. Just a reminder, the Heat 4 Make It Rain bonus. These two took home 40,000. Launchpad just to rotate away. At that point, I think the decision was made that we are in a bad spot.
Yep.
We have to make a move, and Paradise, potentially a good opportunity to do so. They can use these buildings like we've seen players in the past just replace the walls if they need to. Might be exactly what we see happening here. Just going to establish a base.
And the first thing you want to do when you do this is break down any walls that have windows, openings to the outside that can begin to shoot you in the back when you're least expecting. Another replay now from Villix and Jaganza, who took down Dopey. We saw Dopey again earlier on with Overpeak, of how Overpeak dropped. Dopey left by himself. It's always tough when you're in those 1v2s. And yeah, again, you see every wall that gets taken down first is a wall that has some sort of opening to the outside world. They'll claim that building. Solo and Swag Noodles, love that name, have someone nearby. Seems like they're in a close range flight. I believe this is Hysteria and Blind. Yeah, it is. Hysteria with a knock. Solo all by himself. Make it rain time. Jack. Make it rain time. It's reset back to $10,000, but still a nice chunk of change. We're just getting some limbs during this. Solo has knocked out Blind, and now Hysteria is by himself. As I think he's trying to run away from a third party who wound up running on, and it looks like he's leaving Blind behind. Yeah, yep, it's Nate Hill and Funkbomb who have 400 combined health versus that health on Hysteria, which will be now 75.
I would absolutely back out as well, Jack.
I mean, that is just tough.
Heavy shotgun there, but...
And look at the inventory for Nate Hill. 6.63 on materials, legendary assault rifle, both with heavy shotguns, legendary compact SMG as well. Here's the Make It Rain bonus right now. 3 teams tied at 1. He blew himself up. That's rough.
The wall bait there to get Hysteria to take himself out. And it looks like that knockdown on Blind, going uncashed in to the team that got the knock, was eliminated, I believe, by these two. Funkbomb and Nate Hill secured that duo. We have 3 teams with 1 there. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left, $10,000. We have 2 teams still in the running right now, still alive. Actually, 2 teams total, based on what I'm seeing. I did not realize Hysteria and Blind being eliminated. They have 3 eliminations. Perfect Tilt and Diggy have 3 eliminations, so those 2 teams pick up a single point, but everybody else that's close is at 2 or less. Team from Ghost, Bizzle, and DMO.
cloakzy and
tfue with 2 elims.
They love this zone. They have not moved from where they started at the beginning of this game.
This might be the lowest movement of any team thus far. I mean, they landed that set of houses down there and have moved northeast only slightly.
Yep.
North and Mr. Mowgli very split from each other. Mowgli down below, but at 175. We got a team stuck probably the highest hill. Top-down view on everybody. Nate and Funk rotating in ever so gently, floating underneath, and
it looks like something happened there with Nate Hill as you see the frustration. We'll have to receive word on what exactly that was, as it definitely didn't look ideal from my perspective, as it seemed like his glider was malfunctioning a little bit, so we'll wait from League Ops on that one, but for now we'll shift our focus towards Lefty and Jebber here, as they're just kind of gatekeeping as they are right on the edge of this zone. That's a lot of metal being used by those players in the low ground. You can tell just how panicked they are. There's Chapin, 72 hours still in this one. Baldy and Gunfly, as well as Diggy and Perfect Tilt, all inside Paradise.
That's not all there. You see, this is further on the west side, kind of a wider angle there. You have Margosian Saint still alive on top of the hotel building. Ziff and Ronaldo here in the very southwest corner of this gas station with their own little base built up and going just for quick edits to take a look through. And typically you'll see teams like this, they'll edit a door and then instantly set it back so there's nothing there, just so they can look through and watch for any teams rotating on the outside. Going for a little loot sharing here, some materials back and forth as Ziff goes up to 0.44 in his material stack. Flame with FPS, Ziff Ronaldo, Saf and Ghoul, all 3 of these teams right next to each other, just kind of waiting on this rotation. 54 seconds left until the next circle starts to move. 2 minutes remaining on the Make It Rain bonus, and No other team has gone past 1 elimination, which means if there's still a tie, that rolls over to the next game and will be 20,000. You can tell maybe going for an early move here, trying to get into an engagement so they don't get caught rotating, and J-Shoot catches volley there, but it looked like Diggy actually got the knockdown, so that's their elimination.
So that means that they've got to be real close. And oh, gosh.
Down, though. Diggy's got to look out here. 31 HP. He does have a med kit and a campfire. You know, all sorts of HP healing. No shield buffer to build up there as Tilt's going to try and move in with his teammate just to keep it. Make sure he's safe. Stay inside the same box during like a med kit usage, because the timing, 10 seconds is quite a bit of time courage.
Oh, yeah.
And if a team pushes in at that moment, your teammate can protect you just by building up walls or ramps, anything to prevent you from having to cancel that heal.
Make it rain. 1 minute and 10 seconds left. You know that this zone will inch forward. Still 70 players remaining in this game, or 60, sorry. As a Rift to Go's been used. Who was that by? Couldn't even tell.
Potentially Diggy and Perfect Tilt. Now, one team, Ronaldo and Ziff, have 2 elims during this Make It Rain bonus, so we might see them pick up $10,000. Paid.
Oh no. He's got an elim right there. Still 200 HP. Ziff.
And that pair's still alive, by the way, so they're looking for their 3rd win in a row. It would be a skirmish first if they can pick it up. Ziff by himself now, though, 96 HP.
3 victory royales in a row in this lobby is just... Doesn't matter if you get 0 elims, you're doing something right. Obviously, they've had multiple elims in each game, but still absolutely nuts. As Ziff getting some great shots down range. Currently, they're at 2 elims in this Make It Rain bonus, so no one else ties it. They'll earn themselves $10,000.
You gotta be smart on this rotation, Ziff. You don't want to put yourself out in an exposed position. Only 40 HP, but it doesn't have the ability to heal at all. He is barely on the edge of the safe zone. The storm might actually stop halfway through the box. We'll have to see here in a second. Flame, the FPS still both intact. Flame 200 HP.
He's just hanging out. Has a lot of materials, but my goodness, look at this next zone. So south on the map. I think that's where Cloak and tfue had their old builds. Morgasi and Saint done well so far today. Getting tagged on up. A lot of shields from Saint have been shredded off. And oh my gosh!
Snipe 89 meters from Mr. Mowgli, who we saw down on the south edge, just waiting at the bottom in terms of elevation. Gets a shot. Morgasi, as he's rotating across, looks like Saint might be able to save him. The Mentos goes down, which means that might be Pate, and that's Pate and Dementos eliminated. No 3-peat for that duo. Perfect Tilt picks up a pair of elims, puts him at 4. His teammate Diggy is at 2, which means they're 1 elim away from 3 points. After that, every elimination is an additional point. This could be a big, big bonus game for Perfect Tilt and Diggy.
Diggy and Perfect Tilt building on up, and oh no, you see the shred of those ARs. Turns back around, 1 player just drops to the edge of the zone. 51 players remaining now. They've got to go up the side of this mountain or go around it. And that angle is just so tough. He's building right next to other walls. Enemies could be lurking on the other side of that. Who even knows? Looking for some sort of hip fire, as he hasn't gotten it yet. 2 more players nearby, and he gets dropped real quick.
Diggy and Perfect Tilt, I believe that looks like more aggressive gameplay, because they've got to be going for this elimination just to secure that extra point. 45 are left, which means they're well outside.
Are they at 6 elims combined right now?
Yep. Any sort of placement point, they're not close enough right now, which means if they get the elimination, Perfect Tilt gets a knock on provoked in the feed there, gets the elim. That's number 7, which gives them 3 points from this game. But tfue and Cloak are there too. They're going to have to look out.
He just wants whatever loot there is here. A great upgrade for both weapons right there. The heavy shotgun in hand, the epic assault rifle in hand. You've got a rocket launcher you can pick up if you'd want to as well. 2 slurps right now for cloakzy. I mean, you'd expect him to drop 1. No, tfue's already got 1 ticking, and they have a Rift to go. How?
Absolutely.
How do these guys always have all this?
No idea. I want to point out super quick, Perfect Tilt and Diggy are sitting on 7 eliminations, which means if you see in the feed even a knockdown from Perfect Tilt, every single elimination, if it gets finished, that means another point.
They're going to save the Rift to go as well.
They're using another team's Rift to go. The number of players in the air right now,
it's nuts.
Funk Bomb in the feed there.
This is Perfect Tilt. Remember, they are on the verge of big bonus. Every elim he can get right now would be just +1 point for his team, and they know it as well. He's looking to try to drop on down, maybe catch an opponent off guard. cloakzy landing down on 1 Perfect Tilt for now, just staying alive. He's built his little 1x1 box. I believe Chap just got eliminated from this game. Not sure if 72 Hours is still alive. Balla drops as well. Perfect Tilt waiting for the opening. He's going to push on out, getting up towards this high ground, getting into the zone. He'll live to see another day. Oh my gosh.
Smack dab in the middle of the group here. This Storm smearing players off at the bottom. I expect the Storm to claim a number of players in just a moment here. And there it is. Look at the feed. Bumpa, DK, Vape Jesus, Left Eye, Windwalker, Wilds, J-Truth. Everybody going down here to the Storm. One of the roughest zones we've seen so far in the Fall Skirmish. And Perfect Tilt is still in it with maybe 5 HP tops.
It's these mountains, man. I'm telling you, can Perfect Tilt get this elimination? Nothing as of yet.
Just one.
He's doing everything he can.
7 HP.
No healing. What a hero he would be for his team if he can at least get one here. As he's waiting, one behind him. No.
Funk Bomb. 3 points is still fantastic for that duo.
100%. Bizzle's in a nice little spot to potentially shoot down on, or above onto opponents when they aren't expecting it. Not a lot of materials, though. Big thing to take note of. Go Sean, knocks out Jaganza. Nice little pump shot right there. One player nearby, that's Sketch from Envy, who gets cut on down. You know he's going to drop to the zone. tfue and cloakzy still alive. tfue still has a slurp to use. Hasn't had a chance to use it yet. And now he's down to the low ground. This could be the end of the game for tfue. cloakzy's still a lot more healthy. There you go, slurp now being popped. We'll slowly begin to tick that health back up.
At this point, every bit of healing could change the game for that duo.
The consistency of tfue and cloakzy, it's impressive. It's now 3 straight games in the top 10.
Still with an excellent kit, a ton of ammunition for everything. 10 rockets, 110 shotgun shells they'll never use, and there's one coming out, tries to get that, but it looks like Goshan actually picks that.
Goshan's down 5 limbs himself, and look at 3 players in the high ground.
Flamed FPS all up top. cloakzy, the shotgun on Goshan there. Picks up his 3rd elim. That's 6 total, like you said.
So
2 more. 1 more puts him at 7.
It's those 2 on the low ground, and the rest are all going to float down from above. They've got to move with this zone. And now they've got to, trade back with rockets of their own.
The zone's starting to close here. Jack is going to come down to potentially heal off. 2 teams above, 6 players remaining. Cloak and tfue. tfue with no shield, 75 HP. Cloak, 100. He's in an excellent spot. Everything's reloaded. They're building up. They're basically establishing every single square on the bottom.
They've got a campfire and a med kit. They're trying to play around a potential low ground.
Funk Bomb gets a med kit off there.
Funk Bomb's
pushing in.
Funk Bomb's is trying to heal. Flame's got everything.
Gets the knock.
But Flame's got everything you could ever need too. cloakzy's trying to shoot down this top side so they can't heal. Can they do it? There's just 3 players left. They're dropping him on down. Will they be able to out-survive this zone? They're floating. tfue's now knocked. He can't use his heals. cloakzy ticking on down. Just 20 health remaining. Gets 1. Who wound up winning it? cloakzy's down on the low ground as well, I believe. They got it. They did.
1. Are you kidding me? The last second push out into the Storm may have changed that game from a 3rd or 2nd to a 1st place to Victor Royale. $50,000 for the gentleman from FaZe, Jack.
cloakzy can do no wrong today. cloakzy can do no wrong.
We got to look
Here
at this
it is
again.
from his perspective. Yeah, we cut away at an awkward time, but this hip fire right there, and Funk Bomb drops to the Storm alongside Flame.
Even just one of those AR shots from Cloak may have changed that.
Ladies and gentlemen, you made some noise, but that was not only a victory royale, they had 7 eliminations, a 6-point game. tfue and cloakzy, it's like they heard the interview.
They did, they absolutely did.
It's like they heard it, and they said, no. Not giving you 3 in a row, it won't be easy. That means in the first 3 games, tfue and cloakzy, they got 2nd, they got 3rd, and now they've gotten 1st. Brilliant stuff from this duo. There's been threads about it on Reddit. There's been talk on all sorts of social media. Are these 2 the most consistent duo in all of Fortnite? And guess what? I think right now they're continuing to build that case even more.
They put on a show in Heat 1, Jack. You and I had the opportunity to cast that, but this is absolute insanity.
100%.
The progression of gameplay from these 2, kind of sinking in, getting comfortable with the situation, and now just asserting dominance. Last second pushes into the Storm, which we have not seen like that before. It's wild.
Even down to the way that they were using the rockets, because how many times have we seen now this weekend where you play that high ground and you just, place down the campfires and heal on up to out-heal the Storm. cloakzy realizes that, turns and rockets down Flame, who was just going to sit and heal there all day. That's the reason why they were able to win it. Again, super evident Godnik, this is how they wound up winning this battle this time around. It helps when you get a legendary double barrel off the break.
That early in a game is impressive. Super Evan Godnik finally basically saying, yeah, we could take tilted too. This is perfect tilt, and Diggy inside a box there. Nibs gets caught off guard as his teammate Korea is already down. Village, Chiganza. We've seen Chiganza a number of times during Heat 2. Man, Paradise towards the end of this. Absolutely stacked with players. At this point, you see 60 left, 52 left. Perfect Tilt and Diggy did make their way to 7 eliminations. Couldn't quite get the big bonus. We had 2 teams that game with 7 eliminations going for that big bonus. Couldn't quite land it, but Cloak. Look at that, the reaction.
It's much deserved. I mean, look at 2 more ticks to the zone is all he had. The way that they end that game, they get exactly 7 eliminations. They get the victory royale, puts them at +6 points there. And now, for me, it's no question. They absolutely have to be the #1 spot again. They took it back from Dementos there and Pate. But either way, great stuff so far today. Here's a look at our standings.
No surprise, Jack. 17 eliminations.
God.
A 6-point dominant lead from cloakzy and tfue, from FaZe, Dementos, and Pate in second. We've got only a handful of teams thus far, 3 games deep, with double-digit eliminations, which I think outlines exactly how some of these players are playing. Strategic play is everything. Third-partying happens quite a bit, but man, you just can't deny. Look at the 17 elims, it's insanity.
And I'll tell you right now, cloakzy and tfue, obviously members of FaZe. You see Nate Hill there in third, another member of FaZe. They've got some great representation here today. Ghost Bizzle and DMO in that 13th spot. After that rough game 3, though, Nick Merckx and Aiden do drop down from 13 to 17th. Also on your screen there, you see Champ in 72 hours, 4 limbs in total at 21st. We're halfway through the action so far today, and my goodness, it has been electric. Hundreds of thousands watching online. You see this crowd behind me. I mean, there's not an open seat anywhere. What a blast I'm having. It's an honor to be be up here with you, Lupo, having a blast casting this. And I think by the end of today, if tfue and cloakzy continue this performance, there is no doubt in my mind. I mean, you can already make a very good case, but I feel like there's no way you can say that they aren't the best duo in all of Fortnite right now. And we also have our Make It Rain winners as well. We're about to announce. I believe it was Ronaldo and Zip. Oh, wait, I just got told to hold on that. So we're gonna wait now. We're getting a 17
double checking just to be safe
on that one. But either way, but back to the tfue and cloakzy point. I mean, for me, and I'll ask you right now, if tfue and cloakzy win today, are they the best duo without a doubt in Fortnite right now?
I mean, to be quite honest with you, we've seen them through all of Heat 1, and not even just this skirmish. We've seen them repeatedly in Fortnite events before this just put on an absolute, it's like a clinic in domination. I would say without a doubt, if these two take home the victory, if they keep this trend going, they're at 17 elims after only 3 games, and they were at 20 after 4 games in Heat 1. If they can win this thing and keep this going, absolutely the best duo right now in Fortnite, without a doubt.
Absolutely nuts. So some of the highlights from the end of this game. For me, it's without a doubt, cloakzy is the MVP of today so far. The way they use these rockets, you see there, the players, they were trying to campfire and heal. By them shooting them down, they stopped any chance of a heal off going down to the wire, which this team, cloakzy, had no intention of doing. Look at his inventory. He was not going to be able to have any sort of a heal off, even down to how they pushes that again, the pop off at the end. They know just how big that was, far and away, pulling away from the rest of the pack. Second place has 7 points. They have 13, nearly doubling the score.
That's crazy, and like you said, Cloak, they're going full send to secure that as much as they can. Now, I just got word, Jack, the Make It Rain was actually a tie.
Oh, okay, so
a tie.
We'll have to carry that money over then, I guess, to 20,000 for next game. So,
game 4,
hey,
20K.
It sweetens that purse just a little bit more. Remember, game 4 is not our last game today. We're only halfway done with the action. There's 6 games in this grand finals. And again, if you've enjoyed the Fall Skirmish, make sure you let the people know. Tweet
about it.
Tweet at Epic, tweet at Fortnite, hashtag Fortnite TwitchCon, hashtag Fall Skirmish. I think that's how you motivate them to run more of these things, right?
Absolutely. At this point, I don't think they're slowing down, Jack, to be honest with you. This is Fall Skirmish so far has been incredible. We've seen some crazy plays. We had the trials over the course of the weeks too that we saw streamed online all over the place. People were trying to pull off stacking vehicles in the screenshot for the end game, which was crazy, and was that one is actually completed literally the first game by multiple teams. We had people building the Eiffel Tower out of materials in Fortnite in playground mode, a great place for you to practice all your building and shooting and anything. I mean, you could even go for score records with the four-wheeler. I think I spent 6 hours one night trying to do that, and which was a huge waste of my time, but it's super entertaining.
Hey, you held it for a minute there.
3 days, Jack. I had it for 3 days, and then it was beat.
Hey, at least you've gotten a record out there once before, but we've been talking about so many players who've been participating this weekend, how they've done in the heats compared to now. One of the teams that absolutely popped off in the heats was Vape Jesus and Pain. We chatted with them a little bit earlier on today.
Top 3 moments of my life, winning this. Like being at TwitchCon, being my first TwitchCon, with my teammate, he's West Coast, I'm East Coast, and we play from different servers. So coming together and it working out perfectly, it's such a good feeling, man.
Honestly, I thought we would have been 3rd.
That was what we were going for. Let's place, let's make it to the finals, and the finals we go all out.
But when they're Pain and Vape first, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I had "Let's go" in capital running through my head. Let's go, dude. I was so happy, man.
Yeah. So we had the 1 point coming into the final game, and then we hear shots. So we're like, all right, cool, let's go rip, take a kill. And as we're rifting over there, it was perfect. So he starts calling. I'm like, I'm gonna start calling. So we're both birds just flying in. We swoop in, take the kill, and just jump off the top of the tower that they had and just start calling again away. Yeah. And we just go back to farming.
Don't give up to that final game, because
don't even give up the final game.
We had 1 point and jumped to first place from that final game. It's insane. So it's always try, always do your best. Even if your teammate dies, because I died and then he came in and still did it. It's just you can't tilt yourself.
They had 1 point and one monster game from Pain made all the difference there to wind up putting them into that top spot, securing their spot here at the grand finals on Sunday, the last day of TwitchCon. What an event it's been so far. Fortnite, it's worldwide. It's going on everywhere. So many people. The phenomenon continues, and with the amount of people watching right now online and also wanting to compete at these events, wanting to get involved, it's great to see. What's the standout for you so far this weekend from what we've seen at the event?
Seeing players adjust on the fly to the strategy changes that came in with 6.2, the glider redeployment while midair has added variety in a way that I didn't really anticipate. We saw Nick Merckx and Aiden at the L buildings and Tilted Towers. All sorts of things have changed with the way that players take engagements against each other. We've seen people even taking an opportunity to escape from maybe a top-down situation they didn't have the advantage on. Plus, on top of that, previously we've seen people, maybe if you're in a disadvantageous position, if you have somebody built up above you, you can go for an opportunity to shoot the structure out. That's not, that doesn't punish anymore, and because of that, players have adjusted their play style. And I love seeing competitive, top-tier Fortnite players do things like that, because it's a learning opportunity for everybody that's watching.
It excites me because I feel like we're still going to learn some new things in these last few games, probably some tricks up some of these players' sleeves as we are halfway through the action for today. We are going to go to a very brief break. DJ Yonner's going to spin some tunes as we use the restroom, powder on up, and get back for the rest of the action today. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, the Fall Skirmish Finals continues. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live from TwitchCon. The Fortnite Fall Skirmish Grand Finals continues halfway through the action so far, and what a day it's been up to this point. Courage joined by Dr. Lupo. You're doing a great job, Ben.
Same to you, my friend.
Let's
keep it games down. We got 3 games left, game 4 up before you know it. And man, this has been absolutely intense.
100%.
Some of these finishes have been, we've seen massive groups of players drop off because of the storm, tough rotations. We've seen incredible heads-up play from a number of players. Now we have a show being put on, I think at this point, by tfue and Cloak, trying to establish themselves as the best duo, arguably, right now in Fortnite. But they're not the only ones performing exceptionally. Pate and his teammate just before that won back-to-back games, 1 and 2. Who else stands out for you at this point?
Well, honestly, my Twitter timeline is just tfue and cloakzy, so I'm going to say they're my only standout at this point. Everyone else has to catch up. To catch everyone else up to speed, though, we're going to go back through the format, the pricing, how this all breaks down, how the points work. Here it is. First elimination, so key in a Battle Royale. 7+ elims, you get 3 points. 5 to 6 elims, you get 2 points. 3 or 4 elims, you get 1 point. The big bonus, after 7 elims, 1 point will be added for each elimination you get from there. So, what that means is, you do extremely well in a game, you earn yourself a big bonus, but it's so rare to get. Also, we're playing a Battle Royale, so winning and placing well is super key. Victory Royale is 3 points, second or third is 2 points, fourth or fifth is 1 point. Again, you get points, that's how you place higher. When you place higher, you win more money. And when I say you win more money, Ben, I mean you win a lot more money. $400,000 for first place this weekend. Everyone here in the grand finals already has earned at least, what, $5,000 each? Pretty good, but $5,000 to $400,000, just a slight difference.
It's a little bit different, Jank. The top 3 are 6 figures, and on top of that, we have players going after just the extra little icing on the cake. That Make It Rain bonus rolls over between games when it's not claimed. We also have a Victory Royale is $50,000, which tfue and Cloak just secured their first 50 of the day. We have 3 games left. Now, if you're watching from home, if you're here in San Jose, keep in mind, these are the finals at TwitchCon. There's no more Fortnite here after this, so if you're not here, I think you're doing it wrong. Listen to the people and how excited they are. Make some noise, y'all.
Oh, yeah. They're feeling real good here. They're feeling real good. Love this whole crowd tuning on in. And again, stay involved in the conversation right now. I'll talk again is on the performance so far from tfue and Cloakzy. Who will be your standout players in the second half of this grand finals? Who do you think will now begin to make some noise? That's the question I have for you. Hashtag Fall Skirmish, hashtag Fortnite TwitchCon. If I had to pick my duo that will turn things around now, it's 72 hours in chat.
I feel like those two, they know their own limitations. We've seen them put on an excellent show in the past in Summer Skirmish, Fall Skirmish games, and everything else. You've watched their streams most likely. Heck, if you're not already, go sub to them, please, because these two, they know what they can do, because we all know what they can do. However, I feel like a team that might be finding trouble in a placement-oriented gameplay, potentially now is the time, Jack, to go for that big bonus and push yourself up the leaderboard. You know, the top team, tfue and Cloak, they're sitting on 13 points. Second place is 7. So there's still a chance to push your way to the top, Jack, and it starts right now. Game 4, the grand finals, the Fall Skirmish kicking off right now.
Here we go. The second half. Who will climb up that scoreboard to dethrone tfue and Cloakzy? Off the break, we just see everyone split on out. Morgoss alongside Saint, as expected, going Paradise. Cease, you see on your screen, he's had some rough starts to games. Maybe you can turn around here.
Here we go. One thing I've noticed, Jack, while we've been watching these games, the grand finals, a majority, if not all, of the POIs have been occupied by at least one team. We've had a couple teams early game. We see here Attendees and Punisher. I'm curious if, no, there you go. Germ, J-Love are floating tomato this time, so we won't have a rematch there. Look at the map, though. How many teams are landing tilted? Is it only one? It's two. We got the second pair floating past that orange set of arrows there. So I would bet you Super Sean and Godnick versus Nick Merckx and Aiden again.
Yep.
Unsurprisingly, tfue and Cloak, look at these handsome gentlemen on your screen. 17 elims. Look at the damage dealt to players, 2,378. Only 2,000 damage received. Tons of wood acquired. But did you see the gap there? The material used was 5,000 different.
My gosh.
They picked up 5,000 materials from either chests off the ground or, unsurprisingly, their opponents after they're eliminated.
Wild.
The utilization there is incredible, too. 12,000 materials used is insane, but it shows why they do it. You've watched through these games, replacing the walls of structures they're in, the efficient path, by the way, through these buildings, knowing exactly where to go to pick up every chest they can.
Well, the loot,
all the furniture, too.
The loot is just so dense here. There's so many chest spawns, and they're so, like, look at this. There's probably, what, 10, 12 chest spawns just in that little area right there, that when you claim it, when you're by yourself,
Jack, it's uncontested.
It's uncontested. You know they're going to be maxed out on everything. They've already both got max shields. You've got a legendary double barrel already in the hands of cloakzy. They're going to farm all these materials. Go Seft.
Looking at
that
this
early,
start,
this first player dropped.
Does it surprise you in the least that these two come out of here so kitted?
No.
Constantly, look at this. 3-0-0 on the materials, but multiple shields, an epic heavy shotgun, kitted to the teeth. Horrifying Vanitize over here in Salty, down the street from them. Windwalker and his duo. In this blue building, a couple of floors down below. The snipe shot. 130 meters going for the elimination there. His teammate is able to wall it off. Windwalker going to try and save. As
I'm surprised he didn't see, like, right there. Right there, I think, is a perfect example of a player still not used to the new mechanic of the Glider redeploy. Horrify now using it, but Vanitize could have closed the gap way quicker. Oh no, he blocked his teammate, this player. Viled immediately dropped. You got Horrify still challenging. Nice 40+ tag on the shotgun there. They want to clean up the second player as soon as possible, give no chance for another team to come third party this fight. Chasing it down, 33 health tag. Now the end might be near for this player on the other side of this wall.
Windwalker is still doing everything he can to try and make it away. All this noise being made right now.